Alright folks, food is ready for me and I'm hungry. I want to eat, but I also don't want to end the stream. So let's just continue watching the Wings of Documentary channel. This will be separate from YouTube, so I am going to cut this in its own separate stream. Alright, let's see where I left off. Alright, we were right here. Alright. Chapter 3. The Betrayal and the Cowardice. Don't mind me, I'm just eating my food. Oh, shut the fuck. I always hated that excuse. Oh, I never had a father, therefore I have to be a bad person. Like, no, that's not what that means. I didn't have a dad, and I turned out fine. Like, no, that's stupid. Your action is your own. Sure, there can be some influence, but, like, it's still your actions. That's ridiculous to me. Hey, Brandy. Oh, what a coincidence. Call of Duty needed an update. Wow. Can he and dipshit Phil not have so many things in common? Because dipshit Phil also did that. He spent a lot of money, then he got dropped from a cinema, and now he's always constantly begging for money. They need to stop this. Save money, not spend money. Jesus. I noticed something. Why is it that every time I watch Wings, I have to eat something? I'm not making fun of him. It's just a weird coincidence. I'm sad when I eat. I eat when I'm sad. Only 2% would know that reference. That's a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie. Also, I realized you couldn't hear the whole thing. So let me replay that.
Became much more susceptible to radical and he created
in my life that really crippled me when they dropped me, because I had like a 3-year contract with Machinima. I signed one, and under the premise of me signing a 3-year contract, I bought things and made obligations that I normally otherwise would not have.
As I said, him, DSB, too much in common.
So basically my channel's not doing very well. I've been going into the red for February, March, April, May, June. 5 months now.
Wow, it's almost as if you should have planned for stuff, because nothing ever lasts. But, no, fuck it. Let's spend a lot of money on stupid stuff.
And when I got that week off, it kind of like kick-started a lazy bug in me. And when you start getting lazy, you start laying down, you start sleeping more, you start getting depressed, you start realizing how fat you are, and then being fat depresses you, and that makes you want to eat. When you eat, you feel depressed. It's just the constant cycle of being a failure. That on top of just the
You have nobody to blame but yourself. You did this to yourself. You take that out and shove it in your forehead.
negative comments. People are always like, why do you point and just zero in those negative comments? And like, I just can't help it. I can't. I used to have the skin of an elephant.
Now this is a fucking lie. The skin of an elephant. You were so butthurt over that kid. You doxed Keen because he showed the world how much of a bully you were. White boy, El Presador, all that other stuff was because they didn't really like you. And you took that to heart so much that you threatened to murder suicide, and then you dox Keen, get the kid asses beat. Like, no. You do not have the skin of an elephant. Like I said in the last time, you're a fucking banana. So fragile, so easily bruised. That's what you are. You do not have a thick skin of an elephant. You say so many lies, Winks. So many lies in your lifetime. This is the biggest one you've ever lied about. Thick skin of an elephant. Shut the fuck up.
Back in Modern Warfare 2, maybe Black Ops 1, I could care fuck less what you said about me.
Which is why you sent your fans to attack Keemstar's crew. Which is why you attacked that guy who camps for absolutely no reason. Oh yeah, you could give less fuck, huh?
Soon after, however, he joined another company, Full Screen Arcade, but he was
Ridiculous.
making significantly less money from this contract. Around this same time, perhaps attempting to increase viewer retention and income, he began speaking more to YouTube drama, often eschewing the gameplay component of Call of Duty commentary so he could simply talk to the camera in a more normal vlog format. Throughout 2013, his channel would continue in much the same way that it had, trending towards sharing information about his life and speaking his mind on any number of topics, from YouTube drama to national news headlines to his thoughts on the existence of aliens. He would even have a friend record doctors draining a boil after he became infected with MRSA, a sort of drug-resistant staph infection, then upload it to his channel, including a close-up of the bacteria and pus oozing from his skin.
I mean, it's still not as bad as Howie Mandel showing the inside-out anus. Or, was it a basketball player, football player? Some guy that showed his wife's natural birth. Still not as nasty as those.
Similarly, on Painkiller Already 149, he discussed a rather graphic and personal scene.
One of the worst feelings I've ever had in my life. I mean, the only other feeling that I could even contemplate with that would be the time I was constipated and the turd went sideways on me. Like,
That doesn't even make sense.
How did that even happen? How? I need a thorough explanation as to why or how that's even a thing. Because that sounds made up.
Let me tell the story. I had a really bad bout of constipation, and this was when I was on my diet in early 2011. I started doing Slim Fast to replace my lunches. One thing I didn't learn about Slim Fast is it dehydrates you really, really badly. Like, you have to drink a lot of water when you're on Slim Fast when you're replacing it as meals, and I didn't do that. So I got dehydrated really bad. I'm talking about 3 or 4 turds deep. Like, it just hurt to walk. So I feared pooping for about a week. So what I did is I ended up going.
You know, I too tried to take supplements to help lose the weight. But the difference is, he went way too big. Like, I get losing the weight, but you doing all that stuff in just one go is very, very dangerous, and I do not recommend you doing that.
And get a saline enema.
I was surprised you didn't die.
And I had my grandma give me a saline enema, and it softened it up enough to pass, but it only got a little bit. So, like, it softened like the first 3/4 of the turd. I get on the toilet, and a saline enema like stimulates the muscles to actually make it come out. So I do it, it goes, and then that little piece, probably about this big, hits it, and turns like that, and it spreads my butthole wide open. I fall off the toilet, and I hit my head onto the wall, and I call out for my grandma.
There needs to be someone to animate this. There needs to be someone to animate this moment. How did this moment not get animated? Think about it. He's on his toilet, trying to take a shit. All of a sudden, it all comes out, and it flies towards the wall, hits his head. How is that not an animation? How? That sounds brilliant. That sounds super brilliant. That sounds funny as fuck. I can see it now. But instead of hitting the wall, he gets launched through the wall like a Looney Tunes character. There needs to be an animation of that.
I'm like, you might have to take me to the hospital. But what we ended up doing is she ended up sticking her finger up my button and mashing the turd up.
Now, I know how to ask a question, guys.
But midway through that year,
Jesus
this
Christ.
pattern would see a remarkable short-term change. While recording the Painkiller Already podcast, FPS Kyle proposed a way to help Jordy finally lose weight.
One episode, I threw this at Wings because, you know, he was bemoaning his
Station in life.
Sure, and I said, look, man, come to my house. We'll do a fucking month-long boot camp. We'll get the fans behind it. We'll do a Kickstarter to get you like fitness gear, supplies. You know, we'll film the entire thing. We'll make posters. We'll make coffee mugs. We'll get like a big viewership. Not only will this revive your body, it'll revive your YouTube channel. This will be amazing. Come to my house. I'll take a month out of my schedule. I will devote it to you.
Keep this in mind, folks. Kyle is doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Because just like Woody, he's a good friend. Honestly, Wings don't deserve friends like that. With how he is now and how he treats them, he did not deserve them at all.
To you. We'll do this thing together. It'll be fun. I sort of half-heartedly meant it. I didn't really expect him to ever say yes because of all the things that we told you so far. You know, he doesn't get out of his bubble too much. And then the man said yes.
Not to mention he's a coward, but the fact that he said yes, good on you, Wings.
What's more, these videos would be hosted on Jordy's channel, where he could collect the advertising revenue. With the plan in
that said
place,
fuckface. I
Kyle
don't know
prepared
why.
for Jordy to move in.
And so that night I was taking a shower in my shower after the show, and I was washing my hair, and I bumped my elbow on the shower wall, and I was like, God, the shower is a little narrow. And then it occurred to me, Wings of Redemption could not fit into my shower. And if he was going to live with me, we would have to put in a new shower. So construction began the next day on a $5,000 shower.
$5,000. 5G. If anyone ever did that to me, I would never treat them like shit. Ever again. 5G. Specifically for me to help me out. Great friends. Fantastic friends. Such a shame he threw them under the bus.
Jordy arrived at Kyle's house on October 13th, 2013. In the video updating people on his arrival, he was visibly nervous, bouncing his leg and fidgeting as he spoke. This wasn't surprising. He was a self-admitted homebody, preferring to stay in his mother's mobile home with his grandmother.
You know what's funny? 2 streams ago, when he doxed Keem, he proudly admits, like, I don't live in a trailer park, son. But he's proud enough to admit that he lived with his grandma. Motherfucker doesn't even have a house. How can you even talk shit if you don't even have a house?
It's a really big change in life, and it's a change that kind of makes you feel better about yourself.
On October 31st, the first video was uploaded, with the series titled FPS Boot Camp in all capital letters. The beginning showed Jordy.
He looked like a fat cat. I'm sorry. He looked like a fat cat.
Squirming across the floor and pulling himself with a rope.
He is allowed to use his legs. As long as he's moving weight, it's a good thing. Pull. Pull.
What the hell kind of workout is this? Is this like an inverted rope climb? Strange, but okay.
Became immediately clear, however, was that FPS Kyle had no experience as a personal trainer, and he was
No kidding. From that alone, I feel like you should just teach him the basics.
using his common knowledge to construct routines for Jordy. At the end of the first day, Jordy filmed himself in the new bathtub that Kyle had installed for him, and somberly reminisced about when he was
Look at them
stronger
tits!
and lighter.
Woo!
I was kind of disappointed in myself how I wasn't as strong as I remember myself being. But I guess that's the way most things happen. Is you always feel like you were better at a certain point. Like I find myself remembering, thinking back to when I used to be like 330 pounds, and back then I thought I was really, really heavy. And
You can always be worse.
Now I'd kill to be 330. Like, oh Lord, that's 110 pounds. You know, and that's exactly what it is at this point. It's 110 pounds, and there's really nothing you can, really nothing that you can do about it. But
Now, there's the only solution. And you're doing it now. But the only solution to get rid of it, proper diet, exercise, and don't fall into bad habits. It's easier said than done. I'm not gonna knock Wings, because at least at the time, he was legitimately trying. I give him props for that. He's trying. I'd rather have someone try and fail than not try at all.
But it's really cool. Like I feel really good that Kyle's helping me out here. I mean, he's being a really good friend doing this, and like,
Excuse me.
Despite his struggle, the new video performed well, receiving 50,000 views within the first 12 hours. The next day, he discussed
So many
more of his
support.
hardship with the routine. Apparently, he had also broken the bed that Kyle had let him use.
microphone. I forgot my headset.
I'm gonna pause real quick, and we'll be right back. I gotta put the dishes back in the kitchen. sorry for the long wait. Let's continue.
The bed I ended up breaking on the first
And
night.
then we'll
They
go
had, like,
back
a futon
to
bed here,
Warzone.
and I felt real bad about that. So
I will cut this.
Even so,
break
his attitude was positive, buoyed by the
for
high view
YouTube.
count of the first episode of FPS Boot Camp. In order to help fund Jordy's stay with Kyle, a crowdfunding campaign was created on either November 1st or 2nd, asking for $2,500. According to the comments,
I'm a
this
little
goal
confused with
was
that.
doubled
Why?
within 20.
Why $2,000? Maybe for food? Necessities? Maybe. I don't get it.
24 hours, and by the time the campaign ended, it had raised over $8,000.
Why is it in Spanish?
These videos continued, and ironically, the large amount of support Jordy was receiving was creating significant pressure on him
Poor
to
guy.
perform.
Like I said, I'll give him
it's
this.
beyond
He
belief how much
tried.
support I've been getting through these videos. And like it motivates me. Like when I'm on there. In this video right here, you're seeing me make almost 3 minutes on the elliptical.
Why is he making those
the entire
faces?
time
Oh,
I
he's
was on the
struggling.
elliptical.
Okay, I was like, why is he
thought
making those
about all the people
faces?
sitting there rooting for me, and how I can't fail, and like failing at this point would be letting everybody down, including myself.
And yet, that's what you did, Wings. That's what you continue to do. Fail everybody. We had a little bit of hope with that boxing match, but it came to naught because you refused to change.
I don't want to fail, and like I think this.
What a weird contrast from seeing this Wings to current Wings. I guess back then he had more to lose and nothing to gain. But it's so weird to me. From seeing everything he's done now to watching him being humble. It's bizarre.
This year might be the year where I can keep that promise to myself, where I don't want to be overweight on my birthday. I failed last year, but this year might be it. Being overweight might be a stage in my life, and not my entire life.
The FPS Bootcamp videos continued,
fuck?
with significant
What the
progress
hell?
being
What?
made. Jordy's mood improved
What
more
the
and
hell?
more as he continued, bolstered by
Why
his
is he in a
significant
clown
weight loss.
outfit?
I'm shedding something like 2.5 to 4 pounds a day, depending on what I do that day and what I eat. Like,
What?
It's almost inhuman the way my body is burning fat right now.
What wasn't
there
shown
you
in
go.
these
See?
videos were Jordy's
Progress.
significant interpersonal and health problems, the latter likely brought on in part by Kyle's lack of knowledge as a nutritionist.
Living with him outside of the workout was one of the most horrible ordeals of my life. That month was one of the worst months of my life because Wings lives within his own bubble. He doesn't socialize.
Just like
and so
dipshit
he
Phil,
doesn't
can we stop
curtail
with the
himself to social
similarities
norms.
already?
Right away, myself, my roommate Kitty, and my girlfriend were in my kitchen, and the bathroom is visible from the kitchen, and we hear this noise of water.
Alright, I'll give it
flowing
5
into
more
water.
minutes.
And we all
And then we'll
look
go
up
back to
ponderously,
Warzone.
and the bathroom door is agape, and Wings is pissing, and we
How long have I been
and
watching
we
this,
can
actually?
see most of him. I couldn't see the penis, nor could he,
From
but he was
here.
pissing, and we all did, and we were all just.
14 minutes.
And finally, my roommate Kitty yelled, "Close the goddamn door!"
Alright, at hour 2, we'll go back to
She's
Warzone.
British, if you can't tell. And we all just bust out laughing. Like, can you believe that? He's like, "What? What's the big deal? You know, just taking a piss." And they're like, "I was shitting."
That's still rude, Wings. Even when I'm at my friend's place, back in the Navy time, I would always close the door, even if I was pissing. And I also lived in my shield bubble. House manners is still a thing.
Strong
Yeah,
point.
shitting. When I put him on the FPS Kyle diet, which is a lot of salads and grilled chicken, basically, he didn't shit for a week. He didn't shit.
He was constipated again. How many times is this man gonna be constipated?
For so long, I
Two.
called the only person who I truly know is a bit of a fitness expert, Joe Lozon, who's a UFC fighter, a man who is literally a fitness expert. He's a professional fighter, professional athlete, big name in the UFC. I'm like,
You know what's funny though? When I also started a diet, it also consists of salad and grilled chicken. So, and that's just the most basic of knowledge of diet. And the fact that he incorporated is like, wow, salad and grilled chicken is really all we know, huh? It's like, what can you eat? Well, salad, even though salad, nutrition-wise, doesn't really provide anything. And grilled chicken, which is a good source, well, not a good source, but it is a source of protein. Like, and that's like lazy dietary. Like, you don't want to spend so much, but you don't want to get into the research of it, so you just go with salad and grilled chicken because that's like, again, the most basic nutrition you can ever do for yourself. And lots of water.
he hasn't shat in 4 days, dude. He's like, what? Oh, he hasn't shat in 4 days. What do we do? He's like, well, if 3 or 4 more days go by, you know, it's gonna be a problem. It's like, it's already a problem. I think, I'm just picturing the meals that he's taken in. That's still inside him somewhere. Like he's
It's rumbling, ready for the raid.
It's like he's
For
overloaded.
Shadowmore.
I've seen what happens when you put the wrong ammunition into a gun. It explodes. Like what? Are we gonna blow this man's asshole out?
Is he gonna launch through the walls and have his grandma stick her finger up his butt again?
So we're getting him these.
Oh, is Kyle gonna
TNT
stick his
drinks
finger
from
up
the
his
grocery
butt?
store,
Oh,
which are
man.
supposed to aid and passing, you know, making you
That'd be
regular, making you
something.
poop. We're filling his diet with fiber. I believe there was like shredded wheat and chia seed
What
drinks
in
and all
the
of this stuff.
hell?
And finally, like 7 or
What
8
in
days
the
in,
world?
I mean, I had to replace the toilet. Not because anything was wrong with it, but just out of principle after he left.
Knew what
So that's like, what, an extra $200? So $5,200 spent on wings.
I think what it-
I'm not counting the 20
2 weeks into the
2,000.
program,
Or the
Jordy was beginning to
6,000.
feel discouraged
Because I
after
went
his
to
weight
Wings
had
directly.
plateaued, and he approached Kyle, wanting to return home. Kyle was only barely able to convince
I like that. So, because he hasn't seen too much of an improvement, he wants to quit. Bro, this is not overnight. It is not an over week. This is a lifetime process, especially for you. So the fact that you want to quit because you're not seeing improvement is ridiculous. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of improvement. It's not going to be one go. You're not going to work out for a month and expect the biggest of progress. You're not going to go to freaking 110 pounds in a month. That's ridiculous. Stuff like this takes time, and he just wants to rush it. He doesn't want to do it no more. He just wants to rush it. That's probably what it is. I could be wrong. I could be putting words in his mouth. But the fact that he wants to quit only because he's not seeing progress is like, come on, dude. It's not The Sims, where you could just adjust on a whim. It takes process and hard work. Something that you don't like to do.
him to stay for the last 2 weeks. When Jordy arrived back at his mother's mobile home, he seemed ecstatic about the amount of weight he had lost. This inspired him to make a video of himself dropping weights roughly equivalent to the lost weight in order to show what he called the, quote, destructive power that I have taken off my body. Shortly afterwards, he
What a weird way to show that, but okay.
hired a personal trainer named Drew using
Hey, Drew.
the extra money left over from the crowdfunding campaign, and he seemed relatively good-natured about it, laughing alongside Drew and poking fun at himself.
Because you put up some decent weight, considering we just got started, you haven't done this in a while. But the endurance there.
He doesn't want to embarrass me.
I did.
I did 12 reps of 100, and then I went straight to 15 pounds, and I struggled.
You know, it's usually how it goes, but I like the Arnold Schwarzenegger tactic where you just do, like, not a whole lot of weight, but a small amount of weight, and just do that as much as you can, because I don't know why. I just like that tactic a lot. Because it doesn't matter how much you pull, it doesn't matter how many times you can pull, or some shit like that.
However,
I
he
forgot the
also
words.
mentioned that he had started struggling with his diet and had gone back to eating high-calorie foods.
And a lot of it's my appetite has slowly been coming back. When I was at Kyle's house, I was isolated. I had people pretty much feeding me. But now since I took over the diet, I've been slipping more and more and more. How are we going to fix this, Drew?
By sheer willpower. Sheer willpower. That's how you fix yourself, bro. If you want to battle your demons, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. No more Wendy's chili. No more Pepsi. I get it. There are cheat days, and sometimes you slip a little. But, like, you got to have a lot of willpower to conquer your demons. It's actually super easy if you just find different alternatives.
While it's uncertain when these bad habits resumed, this may have been in part because his girlfriend, Brandy, had broken up with him.
That
But while
sucks.
he had taken action to improve his physical health, the health of his friendships had degraded significantly, and this would culminate in an event that would isolate him more than his reclusive lifestyle already had.
You know what? I named this the betrayal and whatever the hell. That's not really the case. I'm a rename this as beating my demons. But that's where we're gonna end it there. And let's continue on to Warzone. If the damn game would load. That'd be great. But yeah, I am going to cut this part out, and it's going to go to YouTube as a